Performer Shawn Mendes has officially cancelled his Wonder World Tour, which was set to take place through to August of next year, visiting various different locations across North America and Europe. On Wednesday, he finally put out a full announcement saying that the rest of the tour is postponed due to mental health reasons. He had originally put the show on hold just a week into it, saying it was a 3-week break from the tour, but this has obviously turned into much more than just a 3-week break. So let's go over everything that he said in regards to the cancellation. Like I said, he announced the cancellation on Wednesday and did so with the following statement. As you guys know, I had to postpone the past few weeks of shows since I wasn't totally prepared for the toll that being back on the road would take on me. I started this tour excited to finally get back to playing live after a long break due to the pandemic, but the reality is I was not at all ready for how difficult touring would be after this time away. So he says that he took too much time off from music and performance and wasn't fully prepared to enter right into a full world tour. Tours like this are incredibly taxing on performers and can be tough on them both physically and mentally. The statement continued, "After speaking more with my team and working with an incredible group of health professionals, it has become more clear that I need to take the time I've never taken personally, to ground myself and come back stronger. I unfortunately have to cancel the rest of the tour dates in North America and the UK/Europe. We were hopeful that I might be able to pick up with the rest of the dates after some much needed time off, but at this time I have to put my health as my first priority." It seems that Shawn has been focusing a lot on mental and spiritual well-being, as we saw with his trip to Hawaii earlier this year. He finishes off the statement with, "This doesn't mean I won't be making new music, and I can't wait to see you on tour in the future. I know you have all been waiting so long to see these shows, and it breaks my heart to tell you this, but I promise I will be back as soon as I've taken the right time to heal. I love you all, and thank you all so much for supporting me and sticking by me on this journey," ending off with a red heart emoji. He first seemed to show signs of his struggles back in December when he said that he was having a hard time with social media and his relationship with it. Some think that all of this may be coming following his split with longtime girlfriend Camila Cabello in the fall of last year. A source said that they apparently both felt the need to split so they could evaluate their relationship and work on themselves. Apparently there was no bad blood between them. Another factor in the breakup that we see with many celebrity couples is that they felt the attention they were receiving was putting too much pressure on their relationship. People apparently constantly asking how serious they were and if they were ever going to get engaged. Mendes released a single in December titled "It'll Be Okay," with lyrics that seemed to reflect the emotions he was dealing with after the breakup. In March of this year, he put out a message that seems to reflect or at least be a strong sign of the mental health issues he seems to be dealing with now. He said, "A lot of the things that are also resonating in the lyrics for me is like, oh, you don't realize when you're like breaking up with someone and you think it's the right thing. You don't realize all the shit that comes after it, which is like, who do I call when I'm in a panic attack? Who do I call when I'm fucking on the edge?" And I think that's the reality that kind of hit. It's like, oh, I'm on my own now. Now I feel like finally I'm actually on my own, and I hate that, you know? That's my reality. So I have a pretty strong theory that Shawn Mendes is still struggling with handling his emotions after this breakup, and he isn't fully ready to put his all into performing while he's still having a hard time mentally. So it is probably for the best that he takes some time to focus on himself and repair himself after the breakup.
Alright, so much has happened over the weekend. In this video, we're going to get into why LGBTQ fans have slammed Beyoncé, the reason that the new Amy Winehouse biopic is so controversial, and why the NYPD is recording anyone who went to Drake's concert. First off, Beyoncé has returned to the stage for her first live performance in 5 years, which seems like it would be a good thing, but it's actually left fans divided. To give you some background, her most recent album was labeled as a celebration of queer culture and made in collaboration with some of the LGBTQ community's biggest names. It pays tribute to dance music that emerged out of that community, and also references 1800s drag ballrooms in Harlem, New York. So when the location for Beyoncé's long-awaited concert was revealed, it did not sit well with some of her fans. She was reportedly paid around $25 million to perform at the star-studded private launch event for Dubai's Hotel Atlantis, the Royal, on Saturday. Despite a strict no phones policy, footage of the performance has now flooded the internet, and there's no other way to say it, it looks spectacular. At one point, Beyoncé was propelled propelled 16 feet into the air in the middle of the hotel's Sky Blaze fountain, while it breathed fire around her. Violinists crowned with metallic gold headpieces and red skirts hit the stage first. Queen Bee was raised up on a platform wearing a yellow corseted dress topped with a feathered skirt and a feathered black piece. The performance lasted an hour and she performed 19 songs, including the first live performance of Brown Skin Girl, along with her 11-year-old daughter Blue Ivy. While many fans rejoiced at Beyoncé's return to the stage, others pointed out the hypocrisy of performing in the United Arab Emirates, where same-sex relationships are illegal and punishable by imprisonment or death. Freelance music journalist Abigail Firth spoke to the BBC Newsbeat about the controversy and pointed to the fact that Beyoncé's recent work is indebted to the LGBT culture. She said, "It seems like it's a really misguided choice from her. She's obviously a multi-millionaire already. She didn't really need to do this. She didn't really need the money." That's probably where some of the backlash is stemming from as well. Bev Jackson, co-founder of the British advocacy group LGB Alliance, spoke to The Telegraph and said that the performance casts a shadow over her support for lesbians and gay people. She said, "Beyoncé is a huge icon for many gay people. LGB Alliance is deeply disappointed that Beyoncé has agreed to give a lucrative concert in Dubai, where same-sex acts are a criminal offense, potentially punishable by death." Across the internet, it seems like fans are super divided over the performance. ID editor Douglas Greenwood posted a viral tweet saying, "No beef, but I'm struggling to understand why Beyoncé, who has $500 million, would accept $20 million to make her debut performance of the Renaissance album, a record which lifts heavily from queer culture, in Dubai, a country where LGBT rights aren't recognized." Even Kitty Scott-Claus from RuPaul's Drag Race UK made it clear that she doesn't support the decision. She tweeted, "Can someone explain why everyone was cancelling David Beckham the other month, but now celebrating Beyoncé for performing in Dubai? One rule for one and one for another." To give you some background, David Beckham received an onslaught of criticism for promoting the World Cup in Qatar, something that he was paid $241 million for. But when it comes to Beyoncé, she is far from the only megastar to have ever performed in Dubai. There's also Lady Gaga, Madonna, Elton John, and Kylie Minogue, and all of them are gay icons, so that was definitely surprising. In fact, one of the only celebrities who openly refused to follow suit was Dua Lipa. She spoke about the decision not to perform at the World Cup and posted an Instagram story where she said, "There is a lot of speculation that I will be performing at the opening ceremony of the World Cup in Qatar. I will not be performing, nor have I ever been involved in any negotiation to perform. I look forward to visiting Qatar when it has fulfilled all the human rights pledges it made when it won the right to host the World Cup." The country has also been criticized for its stance on same-sex relationships, its human rights record, and its treatment of migrant workers. In an attempt to address worldwide criticism, Qatar has made several promises in the past to investigate certain matters and to improve its record, but many people still feel that they continue to fall short time and time again. But despite the backlash, many other stars agreed to take part in the World Cup, like the Black Eyed Peas, Shakira, and Robbie Williams. So clearly there will always be singers willing to perform in those countries, and some even see it as an opportunity to promote a message of global unity. Although let's be real, at the end of the day, they're also getting a massive paycheck, and for most celebrities, that's all the reason they really need. Moving on, did you know that they're making a movie about Amy Winehouse? But now that the first pictures have been released, the reactions are not exactly positive. In fact, it's said to be one of the most controversial biopics since Blonde, as fans have accused the project of exploiting the singer's legacy and capitalizing off her trauma. Last year, it was announced that Sam Taylor Johnson would direct the Amy Winehouse biopic titled Back to Black. The project started shooting in London earlier this month. So who is going to be playing Amy? Well, you might recognize her from the hit TV series Industry. It's actress Marissa Abela, and so far we've seen pictures of her wearing the lead singer's trademark black beehive and gold hoop earrings. Other photos that were released from filming have given a glimpse at the biopic, with one scene showing Marissa transformed into Amy as she sobs hysterically while recreating her husband Blake Fildercival's arrest. Although there is some controversy over the fact that Marissa doesn't exactly look like Amy. The singer's father has come out showing his support for the actress and said that she's a great choice for the role, even if she doesn't look exactly like his late daughter. He told TMZ, "Marissa is Marissa and Amy is Amy, so it's no big deal if they aren't mirror images." He added that plenty of actors don't look like like who they are playing, and that Eddie Marsan, who will play Mitch, isn't an exact match for his appearance either. So there you have it, it's pretty obvious that he approves of the project. But not everyone who knew Amy is happy about it. Ever since the announcement was made, friends of the singer have come out condemning the filmmakers for failing to consult them about her life. They claim that executives working on Back to Black have not been in touch to ask about their memories of her, and that has only raised more fears that the film will be inaccurate. Quote, "Nobody consulted us about Amy. How can it be authentic and accurate if they don't know the real Amy or the truth about what happened in her final years? We are against this and we are upset. Amy was absolutely striking." One of her friends spoke to the Mail and said that they also disliked the casting of Marissa because they just don't see the resemblance to the singer. The reaction on Twitter was not much better. One user wrote, "This is not a great start. Can we please leave the deceased alone?" More often than not, these biopics are a mess and exploitative. Many fans also pointed out that they won't support the film at all because they believe it would feature Amy's suffering when she was still alive and that people should just let her rest. Another user wrote, "I feel very protective over Amy Winehouse's memory, and my gut instinct is to rebuke this biopic. I think most of her fans just wanted her to rest in peace without anyone sensationalizing or exploiting her legacy. The Amy doc is all we need." Another person wrote, "I'm frustrated and confused as to why we need this biopic about Amy Winehouse. She had such traumatic time in the spotlight, and it feels gross to capitalize off of that. Why can't we just let her rest? Remember her through her music." And to sum it up, someone tweeted, "I am going to whoever signed off on that Amy Winehouse biopic." So yes, there has been a lot of backlash, and it's only going to get more intense as production goes on. Now, here's what we do know about the movie. Back to Black will chronicle Amy's time living in London in the early 2000s, as well as her rise to fame. The film was written by Matt Greenhalgh, who wrote the script for the 2009 John Lennon biopic Nowhere Boy. So that's a good sign. Not to mention the fact that Back to Black has been authorized by the Amy Winehouse estate, whereas the 2015 documentary Amy wasn't. Director Sam Taylor Johnson said she is fully aware of the responsibility of bringing this film to life, and said that she will endeavor to create a movie that we will all love and cherish forever, just like we do with Amy. Despite it being almost 12 years since she died from alcohol poisoning at the age of 27, many people still believe that it's too early for a biopic to be made about Amy. So do you think that this movie can be made respectfully, or it shouldn't be made at all? And now let's talk about the insanity that was happening at Drake's concert. Over the weekend, he performed at the Apollo Theater in Harlem, and fans were so excited, one of them literally fell off the second floor balcony. A video posted on Twitter shows the exact moment that it happened, where you can see the guy on the left side of the camera crash into the people on the first floor. According to Insider, crew members then rushed over to the artist to let him know what was happening. Drake then stopped the show entirely to make sure those involved were okay. The lights were turned on for safety, and one light that was hanging under the balcony was knocked out of place from the incident. The production staff worked quickly to fix it, and when it was clear that everyone was alright and no one was injured, the show continued. This was on the second night of the performance, but even crazier than that incident was the fact that there was a heavy police presence outside the venue. In fact, dozens of officers could be seen videotaping everyone who exited the doors. Someone posted a video on Twitter, and people were shocked at the amount of police. Many started speculating why they were shamelessly recording everyone who came out of the concert. One user wrote, "I mean, obviously it's racism." But I guess the slightly better question is, WTF is their excuse? The best question is, how do we move effectively towards defunding the NYPD ASAP? Another person wrote, "Do they do that at Taylor Swift concerts? And maybe they're trying to build a database of people with terrible taste in music." Okay, that last tweet sounded personal, but really, I mean, what are they doing? The general consensus seems to be that the NYPD are scanning faces for AI recognition, and this of course is legal, considering that there is no law against involuntary biometric scanning. But why a Drake concert of all places? Some social media users claim that police organizations are now using facial recognition technology as a new way of keeping tabs on people, specifically people of color. This is really troubling if it's true. And if you look at the video, one of the officers recording seems to be smirking, as if they know it would make everyone everyone feel uncomfortable. There's obviously something that's meant to be intimidating about it, but even generally speaking, no one would enjoy being recorded like that without their permission. So it's interesting to see if there will be any more instances of this happening. Apart from that controversy, Drake's concert was said to be incredible as it was a packed out theater. It paid tribute to so many of his popular songs as far back as the ones from his first album. According to TMZ, Drake was supposed to perform at the Apollo back in November, but he postponed the concert because he was mourning the death of Takeoff, who was a third member of the hip-hop trio Migos and was killed in an incident involving firearms that same month. Drake's concert was then rescheduled for December the 6th and 7th, but that had to be pushed back because of production issues. After the performance, Drake said, "I wanted to make sure this show is about gratitude. This was a little story that we put together. My deep love for my family, my dear friends, and for each and every one of you that have been supporting me for a long time. We don't need to say how long, it's gonna make it sound like we're all getting old." He went on to say that he was grateful to be in this position and compared his run to a kind of lightning strike.
Hello everybody, I'm your host Woody, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 celebrities who got hate for canceling their tours. With how much money and time goes into musical tours, it's a tough decision to cancel one. But sometimes celebrities just don't have a choice, and devoted fans who bought tickets often end up feeling cheated. Let's get into it. Number 10. Shawn Mendes. Shawn Mendes is the most recent celebrity to cancel a world tour when he announced just last week that he would be canceling the rest of the dates of his Wonder tour. This followed a 3-week postponement that came only 1 week into it. He put out a full statement saying that the reason for the cancellation was that he was just not prepared to undertake a full world tour and wasn't able to put his all into the performances. In the statement, he said, "The reality is I was not at all ready for how difficult touring would be after this time away. We were hopeful that I might be able to pick up with the rest of the dates after some much needed time off, but at this time I have to put my health as my first priority." While he did receive a lot of messages of support after the announcement, there are always those who will be disappointed. Messages on Twitter included things like, "Maybe he should get back together with Camilla, he was fine then," and "I'll tell my boss the same thing and see how that flies." Number 9. The Jonas Brothers. Nick, Joe, and Kevin were part of one of the most popular boy bands at the time, the Jonas Brothers, and in 2013 they were preparing to go on a tour together. But before the first of the 19 shows was even able to kick off, they cancelled it, citing the reasoning as a deep rift between them and a disagreement over the direction of their music. Hopeful teenage female fans received refunds for their tickets but were still hopeful for the chance to see them again. But they would be absolutely crushed when shortly after this announcement, the Jonas Brothers broke up. They apparently had a meeting where they met together and shared various sentiments like not feeling emotionally invested in the band and feeling like they all needed to go on their own separate journeys. Fans of the group started blaming different brothers for the breakup and trying to figure out which brother they could focus their sadness and aggression on. Number 8. Summer Walker. R&B singer Summer Walker was on tour throughout the United States when she canceled the rest of her tour, which was over 24 dates, citing her social anxiety as the reason. In a video, she said, "I'm not going to be able to finish this tour because it doesn't really coexist with my social anxiety and my introverted personality. I'm a person, I have feelings, I get tired, I get sad, and it's just a lot." The announcement seemed to come after she started receiving hate for not being very interactive or talkative during her meet and greet sessions. One fan called it anticlimactic and disappointing, saying, "Not only did she move the meet and greet last minute to after the show, the meet and greet itself was literally 5 seconds. I knew she was an introvert and kind of closed off, but there was no effort in this at all whatsoever." Other messages on social media said things like, "She really gets on my everlasting nerve, and this girl is just throwing her career away." Number 7. Shakira. As I recently reported, Shakira recently split from her longtime partner Gerard Piqué, and as it turns out, this relationship actually had an effect on her music and touring as well. They apparently had issues with infidelity, and while Shakira was on tour, they got into a screaming match against each other in the middle of the street. This apparently caused her to damage her vocal cords and lose her her voice, leading to her having to cancel multiple dates on her tour. She put out a statement in Spanish saying that she needed to be on vocal rest, and towards the end of 2017 said she would be canceling tour dates until the following year. Fans were rightfully disappointed as many had put money and other preparations into hopefully seeing the star live, and for it to be cancelled at the last minute was pretty upsetting. Messages said things like, "Why am I not surprised?" and "I hope Shakira goes on hiatus for 5 years. Her fans are so annoying, that's what they deserve." Number 6. Drake. In 2019, Drake was on tour and on his way to Europe when he unexpectedly announced that a few of the dates were going to be changed around. He was on his Assassination Vacation tour when he cancelled his show on April 23rd and moved his 2 other Amsterdam dates ahead 10 days. This made many have flashbacks to the time in 2017 when his Amsterdam shows for the Boy Meets World tour were outright cancelled at the very last minute, later having been revealed to be due to an unforeseen illness and doctors preventing Drake from performing. Many fans who were planning to see the show were absolutely furious hearing about the change, as this ruined a lot of people's plans. One person said, "Booked hotel and booked flights to Amsterdam and Drake moves the date 10 days forward?" And another said, "Why does Drake always cancel his shows, man? Of course I had tickets for the 23rd, which is the only date that's cancelled." Number 5. Meghan Trainor. In 2015, the All About That bass singer Meghan Trainor was on a tour in North America. However, it was suddenly put on hold when she announced that she had suffered a vocal cord hemorrhage, the same thing that Shakira had said when she lost her voice fighting her husband. Meghan said that she was canceling tour dates because she was going forward with getting surgery to fix the situation once and for all. She said that she also had bronchitis at the time and was coughing a lot and had pushed herself over the edge. Trainor said she was devastated, scared, and so sorry, but determined to do what it takes to get better and come back around stronger than ever. While lots of people were sending her messages of recovery and feeling better, there were others on Twitter saying hurtful things like, "She's trash anyways," "Wish it was a brain hemorrhage," and "Hopefully this will mean less trash coming out of my speakers." Number 4. Justin Bieber. Last month it was revealed that Justin Bieber was suffering from Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, which left half of his face paralyzed, announcing the news in a video that left many fans and other viewers shocked. As a result, he had to cancel the remaining United States dates of his Justice World Tour. The announcement said that he was continuing to receive the best medical care possible and was looking forward to getting back on the road to perform for his overseas fans later on in the summer. In the video he posted, Justin said, "This is pretty serious, as you can see. I wish this wasn't the case, but obviously my body is telling me I need to slow down." People on Twitter said things like, "Justin Bieber cancels his tour again. That's one person going home to mommy a little bit sooner." This also isn't the first time that Justin has canceled a tour, and many seem to notice the trend, having said things in the past like, "Justin Bieber touring again means a lot of upset fans when he cancels mid-tour again." Number 3. Iggy Azalea. In 2018, Iggy Azalea attempted to make her comeback with a United States tour called Bad Girls and introducing new music. However, it didn't seem to work as her music didn't do very well and she ended up canceling her tour before it even started. The month it was supposed to start, her touring partner released a statement announcing it and that people could start getting refunds on their tickets. She said that it was out of her hands and not her choice, but she never gave the actual reason for the cancellation. Iggy said, "Believe me, I was really excited for this tour and I'm genuinely disappointed it can't happen this year." It was later revealed that the reason for the cancellation was because she had gone from being paid $330,000 for the tour to only $30,000. She had also previously canceled a tour in 2015 for low ticket sales and needing a break, leaving people saying things like, "Must be really exhausting having no career or accolades worth mentioning," and "She's gonna lose fan base quick if she keeps doing this. Not a good look." Number 2. Kanye West. In 2016, Kanye West was forced to cancel his St. Pablo tour after he seemed to have a breakdown and ended up being hospitalized. He famously went on a political rant on stage at one of his shows, making comments on various different politicians and even other performers. He called out Beyoncé and said, "I've been sitting here to give y'all my truth even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career." And hashtag Kanye West is over party went trending on Twitter as he received tons of hate from Beyoncé's Beehive. He was apparently dealing with substance abuse issues issues at the time and checked himself into a psychiatric center. Kanye has often had a divided following, with people seeming to either love him or hate him, and those who hated him definitely showed up following the announcement, saying things on social media like "nobody was going anyway" and "tiresome little man." Number 1. Adele. Adele was set to take up a residency performing in shows in Las Vegas, but cancelled it just one day before the very first performance was set to happen. She said that the show just wasn't ready yet, but she would fix it so it could happen later this year. In an Instagram live video, she explained her reasoning, saying, "I definitely felt everyone's disappointment and I was devastated, and I was frightened about letting them down. I thought I could pull it together and make it work, and I couldn't. I stand by that decision. I'm not going to just do a show because I have to, or because people are going to be let down, or because we're going to lose loads of money." And people definitely were let down. Adele receiving so much backlash that she said it affected her heavily. In an interview, she said, "I was a shell of a person for a couple months. I just had to wait it out and just grieve it, I guess. Just grieve the shows and get over the guilt. But it was brutal."
After the tragic events that took the lives of 10 concert goers during the Astroworld festival, many people wanted to hear what the celebrities in attendance had to say. Among those celebrities that reacted to the news were some people that performed on the show, but others who were not involved also decided to weigh in on the situation. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and today on I.O. we're taking a look at the top 10 celebrity Astroworld tragedy reactions. But first, if you happen to be new here and you don't want to miss another video, make sure you tap that subscribe button. And with that out of the way, let's just get right into today's top 10. Coming in at number 10, Kim Kardashian. Following Travis Scott's statement that he released, many other celebrities started to also react to the news. After Travis canceled the second night of the festival, Kim K shared her statement in regards to the tragedy on Instagram and said that her family is in a state of shock. In the post she says, "Absolutely heartbroken for the lives who were lost and anyone who was hurt at Astroworld. Just like all of you, our family is in shock by the tragedy. We are keeping all of the victims, families, and loved ones impacted in our prayers for healing, as well as Travis, who we know cares so much about his fans and is truly devastated." Coming in at number 9, SZA. Recently during a show, SZA stressed the importance of safety after one of her fans passed out during the concert. Aside from a tweet she put out reacting to the news, she also said during this show that what happened at Astroworld should never happen again. In a clip posted to TikTok, she says, "Yes, I have played concerts where people have passed out before. And it's like somebody said, people pass out all the time, blah blah blah, but people don't die at concerts all the time. None of us should ever don't ever forget that." And in addition to this response, SZA also tweeted out, "Speechless about last night, I'm actually in shock and don't even know what to say. Just praying for everyone in Houston, especially the families of those that lost their lives." Coming in at number 8, Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi and Travis Scott have collabed before, and he was actually set to perform at the 2020 Astroworld Festival before it was cancelled due to COVID. However, after hearing the news of what happened, Kid Cudi tweeted out, "Really messed up about the news at Astroworld. My heart goes out to the families who lost a loved one last night and everyone who was injured. Sad day, man." Now, because he didn't call Travis out directly, a lot of Kid Cudi fans were split in his replies to this tweet. Some thanked him for not blaming Travis, while others said, "Hold your friends accountable. Travis and everyone that worked in that venue last night need to be held responsible. Your statement sounds more meaningful than what he came out with." Coming in at number 7, Megan Thee Stallion. During a recent appearance at Glamorous Woman of the Year event, Megan Thee Stallion gave her reaction to the tragedy despite not attending the festival. During an interview, she told ET that it did hit home for her because she grew up in Houston. Megan goes on to say, "Houston is my hometown. It has a special place in my heart. I feel terrible. Whatever we can do, I want to help. I want to support, always. That's my duty. That's what I gotta do. And we're just sending prayers, and we're sending condolences, and we're sending positive energy to everybody and their family." Coming in at number 6, Master P. Rapper and founder of No Limit Records, Master P also was performing at the Astroworld Festival this year and took to the stage to perform earlier in the day. In an Instagram caption, Master P reacted to the news with this statement and said, "I performed early in the day at Astroworld, but I was supposed to perform at night because I had a show in Baltimore. I heard what happened at the show. My condolences go out to the people who lost their lives. Man, this was supposed to be a historical event. It was so lit." Coming in at number 5, Trey Songz. Back in 2015, Trey Songz and Travis Scott actually had beef with each other. Well, at least Travis did with Trey. He apparently dissed Trey Songz on stage during a show, and afterwards angry fans showed up to hurl insults as he entered his tour bus. In 2017 though, Trey Songz did do a remix of a Travis Scott song, so perhaps the beef is water under the bridge by now. In response to the news of what happened at Astroworld, Trey Songz tweeted out, "Heart goes out for the lives lost and all those affected by what took place in Houston. It's all so unimaginable and very sad. Prayers up." Trey Songz' replies on this post were similar to Kid Cudi's. One person writes, "Crazy how your words seem to be more genuine than than what Travis has put out. I mean, just seems like his team took care of it. Coming in at number 4, Kendall Jenner. Kendall was another celebrity that people wanted to hear from after all of this. She attended the Astroworld Festival alongside her sister Kylie, and after Kylie released her statement, Kendall put out a separate one as well. In her statement, she said, "I'm truly broken for the families that have lost loved ones, and my prayers go out to everyone involved, sending everyone who has been affected all of my love and wishing them strength during this incredibly devastating and sensitive time," which has essentially been what everyone else is saying about this tragedy. Kylie, on the other hand, took a different approach in addressing rumors with her reaction. In one part, she even says, "I want to make it clear that we weren't aware of the fatalities until the news came out after the show, and in no world would have continued filming or performing." But we'll get to the rest of her statement in a moment. Coming in at number 3, Beyonce. Beyonce is without a doubt one of Houston's biggest stars, and because Travis Scott is also from Houston, she has always shown him love in the past. In one clip from a 2019 show, Beyonce actually gives Travis a standing ovation at the end of his stargazing set. In response to what took place in her hometown, Beyonce tweeted and said, "My heart goes out to every person affected by the tragedy in Houston, praying for the families and loved ones of the victims." And fans of Beyonce also noted in replies that she actually acted faster with a statement than Travis did. One user writes, "Beyonce, you are such a kind-hearted person. The way you talked about the situation before the lead artist of the festival even spoke up. God bless your heart." Coming in number 2, Drake. As many of you know now, Drake is also involved in a lot of the Astroworld lawsuits because he had performed with Travis Scott that evening. 2 days after the news of the mass casualty event, Drake broke his silence and said, "I spent the past few days trying to wrap my mind around this devastating tragedy. I hate resorting to this platform to express an emotion as delicate as grief, but this is where I find myself. My heart is broken for the families and friends of those who lost their lives and for anyone who is suffering. I will continue to pray for all of them and will be of service in any way I can. May God be with you all." Also, as of right now, there are more than 100 lawsuits that have already been filed against Travis Scott, Drake, and Live Nation. And coming in at our number 1 spot, Kylie Jenner. The Astroworld Festival in Houston took the lives of 10 people and injured countless others, but to make matters worse, Kylie Jenner was also in attendance, and on her Instagram story you could actually see an ambulance trying to get through the crowd. This almost immediately resulted in immense backlash where people accused her of not caring about the concert goers who needed medical attention. The 24-year-old makeup mogul said later on in a statement that both she and Travis were not aware of any fatalities that happened during his 75-minute set until it was all finished. In a statement of apology, Kylie Jenner said, "Travis and I are broken and devastated. My thoughts and prayers are with all who lost their lives, were injured, or affected in any way by yesterday's events, and also for Travis, who I know cares deeply for his fans and the Houston community. I want to make it clear we weren't aware of any fatalities until the news came out after the show, and in no world would have continued filming or performing. I am sending my deepest condolences to all the families during this difficult time, and will be praying for the healing of everyone who has been impacted."
Why are people throwing things at Harry Styles? Harry appears to have been injured after a crazy fan threw hard candy onto the stage. While performing Kiwi at the Kia Forum in LA, the singer was pelted with a shower of Skittles, some of which hit his eye. A video of the moment was shared on Twitter, and the footage shows multiple pieces of candy zooming across the stage before a single piece hits Harry directly in his left eye. In the clip, Harry immediately winces and holds his hand up to his eye while bowing his head toward the floor. As he then turns to the camera, he is visibly squinting, and apparently he couldn't open his eye for the rest of the show. It's safe to say that fans were outraged at the incident. One user tweeted, "Whoever the F threw a solid object at his eye, you literally ruined Kiwi because he couldn't open his eye for the whole song." Another person wrote, "Whoever threw those Skittles, I hope you're embarrassed and crying and are never allowed into a Harry concert again." Following the Monday night incident, the official Skittles Instagram account released a statement saying, "Didn't think I needed to say this. Please don't throw Skittles." So even the candy company itself made it clear that you shouldn't be throwing Skittles on stage, let alone at celebrities. To make matters worse, Harry was later filmed driving himself home from the venue, where he appeared to be rubbing his injured eye, so obviously there was some real damage done. But sadly, fans throwing things on stage is not exactly a new issue for Harry, and it has been happening a lot to other celebrities as well. In fact, just last month, musician Steve Lacy had to cut his New Orleans gig short after a fan threw a literal disposable camera at him. He then smashed the fan's camera and walked off stage saying, "Don't throw crap on my effing stage." Earlier this year, Louis Tomlinson was also the target of crazy concert goers during a show in New York after someone threw a chicken nugget which hit him on the head. He shouted, "Who has hit me in the head with an effing chicken nugget? You're taking the piss now, have it back." And then he threw the nugget back into the crowd. Not to mention in August when Lady Gaga had a teddy bear thrown at her while performing in Toronto. The singer had to dodge the flying object mid-song and afterward which she just carried on like a true professional as if nothing had ever happened. But fluffy or not, considering how much damage any object can do when it's thrown at someone who isn't expecting it, it's probably about time that everyone just straight up stopped throwing things on stage. In September last year, Harry kicked off his ambitious 167-date world tour in Las Vegas, and it's set to run for 22 months in support of his second and third studio albums. In fact, Love on Tour has already made history thanks to Harry's record-breaking 15-night run at New York's Madison Square Garden. But early this month, fans were disappointed when he was forced to push back 3 of his dates in LA after coming down with the flu. It was definitely a major setback because he initially rescheduled his show from November the 4th to November the 6th after a member of his band fell ill. But not long after that, Harry revealed that he was also sick, and he most likely caught whatever was going around. On his Instagram story shortly before his gig was supposed to start, he wrote, "Towards the end of the show on Wednesday, I started feeling ill, and I've been in bed with the flu ever since. I've been doing everything I can to be able to sing tonight, but I'm leaving the doctor now and I'm devastated that it's just not possible." He went on to say, "Until very recently, I haven't had to postpone a show due to illness in the 12 years I've been touring. I'm so sorry to do it, and if there was any way I could do the show, I would. I'm sorry this news is coming so close to showtime, but it was my sincerest hope to be able to play for you tonight. I know several of you have planned trips to LA to see the show, and it means the absolute world to me." Harry only returned to the stage this week and was clearly ready to have a comeback after taking so much time off to rest and recover. So the fact that he might have been seriously injured because of crappy fan behavior is beyond upsetting. Hopefully his eye turns out alright and he can get back to his tour.
Billie Eilish is being praised in the news again for stopping her concert out of concern for the safety of her fans while performing for her Happier Than Ever world tour at the prestigious Madison Square Garden in New York City. Now, the last time that Billie decided to stop her concert, it was because a fan needed an inhaler. People immediately started though to compare her to Travis Scott in this situation. Well, the same thing is happening again with this scenario. To be clear though, Billie said nothing about Travis at the last concert where she did this, and she said nothing about him this time either. Yet for some reason, people love to compare and say that Billie is showing Travis Scott how it's done. This is because in November of last year, his lack of concern for fans' safety at his Astroworld festival led to 10 concert goers between the ages of 9 and 27 to lose their life. It was a horrible tragedy that every artist could certainly learn from, but this is nothing new to Billie Eilish. Despite her age and not being in the game for very long, Eilish has exhibited nothing but care and compassion for her fans. This time around, while performing at MSG, she decided to take a breather, but more importantly, encouraged the massive crowd in attendance to do the same. By stopping the show midway through, she was able to control the crowd and bring the energy in the room back down to a safe level. According to reports, people in attendance didn't really seem to mind either. Not only that, but she also asked the people who were in the front row to take a step back and just give each other room, which shows that she is constantly keeping her fans' safety at the top of her priorities, before she just transitions into another song. Judging from the sound of the crowd when she said for them to take a deep breath, everyone seemed very appreciative of this and more than happy to go along with it. After making sure that everyone was all good, she started to get the crowd hyped back up again. I'm happy to see that she's not letting what Kanye said though deter her from checking in on her fans. I'm guessing someone may have told Kanye only half of the story when it came to the last concert stop, because after catching wind that she may have brought up Travis Scott's name, Ye demanded that Billie apologize. In an Instagram caption he wrote, "Come on Billie, we love you. Please apologize to Trav and to the families of the people who lost their lives. No one intended this to happen. Trav didn't have any idea of what was happening when he was on stage and was very hurt by what happened, and yes, Trav will be with me at Coachella, but now I need Billie to apologize before I perform." And in response, you can see that Billie says, "Literally never said a thing about Travis, was just helping a fan." And as I mentioned earlier, the media lying and saying that she was somehow taking a shot at Travis Scott almost wrecked an entire Coachella lineup. That's a light reaction from Kanye, and it was handled very well by Billie Eilish. Hopefully this more recent show stoppage doesn't result in Ye asking for yet again another apology on behalf of Travis Scott. Like I said in my last video about this topic, it's important for videos like this to come out because the positive response is just going to remind artists of why they need to be aware of their audience while performing. Once we get back to those full capacity concerts all over the world, it's going to be a real problem if performers don't learn from the mistakes made at Astroworld.
Riri is going to the Super Bowl. Bowl, but does that mean she's going to go on tour? I'm Adam Andrews with InformOverload, and let's talk about that. So, with the confirmation that Rihanna is going to be headlining the next Super Bowl halftime show, media outlets like Hits Daily Double and Billboard are speculating this may mean the superstar is going to be releasing new music and going on tour. The last time the star went on tour was in 2016, 6 years ago. She is set to return to the stage on February 12th, 2023 at State Farm Stadium outside Phoenix for the Super Bowl halftime show, and it's speculated that this will roughly line up with the release of a new album and then followed up by a world tour. Since it's been so long since she has released music or gone on tour, the Super Bowl would kind of be the perfect way to kick it off, giving everyone a reminder of just how groundbreaking this artist actually is. With more than 100 million viewers tuning into the halftime show and its reputation for world-class artistry and production, Rihanna's performance there easily is the biggest and best platform available for any superstar artist looking to announce mega world tours and sell millions of tickets. Artists like Madonna, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Shakira, and The Weeknd have all done the exact same thing, using the show to kick off tours and sell their tickets. According to Billboard, given Rihanna's popularity, she could potentially generate as much as $2 million per arena show in 2023, and that's even without the Super Bowl to help sell tickets, considering she could sell out stadiums very easily. We do also know that Riri has had new music in the works for a long time, with lots of unfinished songs teased and hinted at. So if she is coming here, I am 110% going to that show. There's no way in hell that I would miss that. But what about you guys?
Many critics have been ruthless about the writing and production of the album. Pitchfork gave it a 4.3 out of 10 and stated the resulting album has all the glow and eroticism of an airport terminal.
Over the past week, a ton of the massive venues that Justin Bieber was using to hold his Changes tour have announced that Justin will no longer be performing at these huge stadiums. Instead, he's downgrading to smaller venues in the same cities, or just straight up canceling tour dates in other ones. Hey, what's up IOers? It's Mackenzie Smith here, and today I'm going to be giving you the inside scoop on why Justin Bieber's tour is going through some massive changes. Get it? Because his album name is Changes. Anyways, Bieber was set to embark on a 45-date stadium tour in support of his album Changes, but recently has downsized a ton of the venues. This has been leaving tons of fans to speculate as to why. Well, Justin and his team have come out saying that the reason is solely because of the coronavirus. Basically, his team is saying that because of the new virus, ticket sales have suffered, and also he doesn't feel it's safe to have concerts at all, fearing further spread of the disease. But sadly for them, this doesn't really add up, because the tour was struggling to sell tickets way before the coronavirus really became that much of a fear for people, especially in the West. Countries had really just started banning events only a few days ago. Also, other artists like BTS that have just released tickets to their stadium tours have seen them selling out very quickly, leaving a lot of people to speculate that this has nothing to do with the coronavirus. It's more the fact that people might not just be as interested in going to see him on tour as they were before his long break. And also, if the tour was cancelled because of the coronavirus, then people would be getting their money back, so I'm not sure I'm totally getting the coronavirus excuse here as for why people wouldn't be buying tickets, because if you're a true fan, you'd still buy them and then just get your money back if the tour didn't end up happening. Sources close to Justin claimed to TMZ his team made the decision to relocate several tour stops to guarantee they could fill seats instead of performing to a half-empty stadium. And they're still pushing coronavirus as the reason that the stadium would be half-empty. But tickets have been on sale since Valentine's Day, February 14th, and as of this writing, have not really sold very well at most of the venues. And as you can see from this graphic of a Philadelphia stadium, this is showing tons of blue, meaning all those areas still have tons of empty seats open. But on the flip side of things, because we don't want to send too much hate to Justin, a ton of music festivals have announced that they are either canceling or delaying their dates. With South by Southwest being cancelled by the mayor of Austin, Texas, over fears the virus would spread too easily at the event. And also Coachella has now been moved to October instead of when it usually is, I think in April or May, so that there would be less coronavirus related concerns for concert goers. This is what some fans had to say about the matter on Twitter. One user wrote, "Due to low ticket sales and constantly flopping, the Justin Bieber stadium tour has moved
to arenas. Okay, yikes, she did not hold back. Then another one said, due to Justin Bieber not being able to sell out more than 50% of his tour tickets, his stadium shows have been downgraded into areas with lower capacity, so it doesn't look like he's a flop. Okay, that's a little mean, aw. And there were even a ton of Taylor Swift fans that came for Justin online as well. Because if you don't know, Taylor and Justin are not on good terms because of Justin's relationship to Scooter Braun, who was the one that bought Taylor Swift's masters from Scott Borchetta a few months back. And based on all of that, another Twitter user wrote, since Justin Bieber's tour is flopping hard and he is moving to arenas, I want to remind you that Taylor Swift sold out Super Bowl Stadium twice with the Reputation Stadium tour. Happy Friday, everybody. But as well, there were some of his fans in the comments of those tweets saying that it was actually because of the coronavirus and pointing to slower ticket sales for some other artists as well over the past few weeks. So that's all for the story. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think my thoughts here are that not that he's a total failure, but more I think his demographic has just aged up to an age where maybe not many people would still go to a concert of his. Like, I still think he has a ton of fans and a lot of different demographics, but I think even I was probably his core demographic like 5 or 6 years ago when I definitely would have went to one of his concerts. But now, I don't know, now that I've aged up a lot and you know, him and his fans have grown, I guess I'm just not personally as big of a fan, and maybe his other fans are feeling the same way.